Today we are going to discuss about engineering materials. What are materials? Material is a form of matter that is present in nature. So engineering materials are generally classified into two, metals and non-metals. Alloys are also a part of metals only. So metals and alloys form one group and non-metals form another group. So what is a metal or what are metals? Metals are solid substances. They have good mechanical properties like it has good ductility, strength, toughness, etc. And it also possesses thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity. And all these properties are exhibited at room temperature. When there is a change in temperature, either they lose these mechanical properties or they gain some of the mechanical properties. Okay, so metals are common, some of the metals like cast iron, steel, copper, aluminum. These are some of the common examples for metals. So any material other than metals forms the non-metal category. Metals are further classified as ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals. What are ferrous metals? Ferrous metals have iron as the main constituent. Some examples like cast iron, protein, steel are some examples of ferrous metals. What are non-metals? These are all metals in which iron is not present as the main constituent. Sometimes iron may be present, but that will be at a lower quantity. So non-ferrous metals are like copper, aluminum, and its alloys. So what are alloys? Alloy is a combination of a base metal with two or more other metals. Why do you add other metals to the base metal? In order to enhance some of the properties of the metal or the base metal, we have to add some other metals in small quantities. They form alloys. Can you cite some examples for alloys? Steel is an example of alloy because steel is having iron as the base metal with some other metals like magnesium is added little amount. Magnesium is added in little amount to the iron in order to enhance its property. We know that steel has carbon, but carbon is not a metal, isn't it? So some other metals like vanadium, copper, etc. are added to steel to enhance its properties. So alloys are a combination of base metal with two or more other metals which are added with the purpose of enhancing the base metal properties. So from an engineering point of view, you should be aware of what are metals, what are non-metals, and what are alloys. Let us discuss about the mechanical properties of metals. Some of the mechanical properties are discussed here. First one is elasticity. What is elasticity? It is a property of metal by which it can regain its original size and shape when the applied load is removed. It can be best explained by the help of a steel chair. When you are sitting on the chair, because of the elastic property of steel, it will undergo some temporary deformation. But that deformation is in very small amount. And when you are releasing the chair or when you are freeing up the chair, what happens? It will come back to its original shape. But it is not visible with the help of our naked eyes. But most of the steel structures possess elasticity. That is why it will be subjected to repeated loading activities. So elasticity is a desirable property for metallic structures. So what is plasticity? Plasticity is just opposite to elasticity. You know, metals are common choice for manufacturing different type of objects. Why do we choose metals? Because it has sufficient plasticity. As you studied in manufacturing technology, you know that it has metal is subjected to a permanent deformation. Some processes like forging, rolling, etc. When you are applying force on the metal, there will be a permanent deformation for the material. Okay, if the metal has the ability to retain its permanent deformation or retain its new size and shape when the applied load is removed, then we can say that the metal has sufficient plasticity. So plastic deformation is a part of plasticity property. Otherwise, how can we define plasticity? It can be defined as a property by which a metal can retain its new size and shape when the applied load is removed. How do you define strength, or what is strength? Strength is the ability to withstand the action of external forces. So every structure should possess sufficient strength, isn't it? Because it will be subjected to external forces. There are different types of external forces like loads which are acting at a very large velocity like impact loading, or the load is acting at with a small velocity, maybe it will be a gradual loading, etc. So strength is associated with the ability of a material to withstand the action of external forces no matter what type it will be. But there is a limit for the strength of every metal, that is given by the ultimate strength of the material. If the ultimate strength is, if the loading is such that the stress developed in the material is more than the ultimate strength, what happens? It will undergo failure. So strength determines the point up to which a metal can be loaded, or an object which is manufactured with a metal can be loaded. Next one is hardness. What is hardness? It is the ability of a metal to resist the indentation or penetration of another object. So, where is hardness desirable? Whether it is desirable for the tool or the workpiece during manufacturing? The tool should be always harder than the workpiece. Otherwise, tool cannot penetrate into the workpiece and it cannot remove the material. So, tools should possess sufficient hardness and it should be more than that of the workpiece. That is all about hardness. Next one is stiffness. What is stiffness? It is the ability of a material to retain its shape no matter whatever force is acting, or it is the ability to resist the elastic deformation. There are certain metals which are so harder or so stiff and hard such that it will not undergo any elastic deformation. Whatever the load be, it will not undergo any elastic deformation. First, it has to deform elastically, then comes the plastic deformation. So, if the material is sufficiently stiff, it will not undergo any elastic deformation or further plastic deformation. So stiffness is required especially when components which are manufactured with the metals are subjected to impact loading. Okay, whenever impact loading is acting, what is impact load? Forces which are acting with a very large velocity. When impact load is acting, the material stiff, if the material is stiff, it will not undergo any elastic deformation. What is toughness? Toughness is the ability of a metal to absorb a large amount of strain energy before its failure. Can you cite some examples for materials with a sufficient toughness? Mild steel, aluminum, lead. These are some examples of metals with sufficient toughness. Mild steel and aluminum are commonly used for making car body panels or automobile body panels. Why? Because they have sufficient toughness so that when the vehicle collides somewhere, a large part of the impact energy will, will be absorbed by the metal, and before its failure, it will absorb a large amount of impact energy, thereby protecting the passengers. So, mild steel, aluminum, etc. has sufficient toughness for choosing it as a metal for automobiles. What is resilience? Resilience is the ability of a metal to absorb strain energy during elastic deformation. A spring is a resilient object. Spring. When you subject the spring to elastic deformation, or when you are uh, pushing the spring to its smaller dimension, what happens? It absorbs large amount of strain energy. And when you are releasing your hands, it will come back to original position, or you will feel a pushing effect on your hands because the strain energy already stored in the material is getting released. So the property which is processed by spring is resilience. What is ductility? Ductility is the ability of a metal to draw into wires or draw into smaller objects. You know, cup manufacture during deep drawing. So a flat sheet is drawn into the shape of a cup. Usually we choose steel for making cups. Why? Because steel has sufficient amount of ductility. It can easily get drawn into different smaller shapes. When you are applying a pulling force, or a when you are pushing it with a die, what happens? It will change its shape without developing any type of fracture. This is called ductility. So ductility is a desirable property for sheet metals which are subjected to manufacturing operations. What is brittleness? It is the ability of a metal to fragment into pieces. There are some metals which are very brittle, like very brittle. Some examples are cast iron. When you are applying some force which is more than its strength, what happens? When you are applying a force on a cast iron material, and if it is exceeding the stress developed is exceeding its ultimate strength, what happens? It will it will show a brittle fracture, or it will fail in a brittle mode. So what is this brittle mode? Without undergoing any permanent plastic deformation, if the metal is fragmenting into pieces, then it is called brittleness. Common brittle material other than metal is glass. Glass is a non-metal, isn't it? But the property, you can see that when you apply a force, or if it falls down, it will shatter into pieces. That is exactly brittleness. In case of metals, this brittleness is not very clearly observable. Brittleness is only observed during fracture. Okay. What is malleability? Malleability is the property of metal by which blocks can be rolled into sheets. Suppose you want to reduce the thickness of a sheet, or a thickness of a block. What do you have to do? You have to roll it into sheets, or you have to roll in order to reduce its thickness. If the metal is resisting it, and it is developing some amount of cracks, then you can say that it is less malleable. Usually metals like steel possess sufficient malleability. That is why we can see sheets made of steel, or steel sheets are available common in market, because steel possesses sufficient malleability. So it can be easily rolled into plain structures. What is fatigue? Fatigue is actually a behavior of the metal when it is subjected to fluctuating loads. What are fluctuating loads? Loads which are varying in magnitude with respect to time, isn't it? So, when metals are subjected to fluctuating loads, its behavior is different than when it is subjected to static loading. So, fatigue is just a behavior of metal similar to static loading only, but the strength of the metal will get reduced during fluctuating loading. Okay, so fatigue has to be considered, or fatigue behavior has to be considered for designing machine components. Next is fracture. Fracture is a desirable property, or fracturability. Fracturability is a desirable property in sheet metal when it is subjected to external loading. It is the ability of the sheet to separate into two or more parts under an external loading condition. So what will be this external loading? It will be a shear loading. I am explaining about shear cutting operation. You have to shear cut the sheet metal into different parts where this fracturability comes to play, isn't it? Fracturability is that property which helps the metal to separate into two or more parts under the external loading condition. This external loading condition will be a cutting operation during manufacturing. So it should have sufficient fracturability, otherwise we cannot cut that metal, isn't it? So fracturability is a desirable property. There are two types of fracture, mainly ductile fracture and brittle fracture. What is ductile fracture? Ductile fracture is commonly observed in metals which are highly ductile. So ductile fracture can be visually observed if you see that when a sheet metal is subjected to a tensile test. When a sheet metal is subjected to tensile test, if it is a highly ductile material, you can find that the crack propagation is very slow and there will be extensive plastic deformation before failure of the object. A common example for ductile material is mild steel. Suppose you are subjecting a cast iron. You are subjecting a cast iron for tensile test. What happens? After some time, it fails, and cast iron possesses brittle fracture. Why? You can find that there may not be any plastic deformation, or the plastic deformation will be very less, and it is followed by a rapid crack propagation. So the fracturability of the metal is different. For different metals, fracturability is different. For ductile materials and brittle materials, the fracturability is different, and the fracture characteristics are also different. So these are all the properties to be considered while you select a metal for a machine component, or while you choose a material for a machine component. Okay, so from machine design point or machine design point of view, the material properties are very important. So what are the factors to be considered while you choose a material for engineering application? There are three factors which are to be considered while you choose a material. They are availability of the material, suitability of the material, and cost of the material. What is availability of the material? That means availability means the material should be cheap and it is easily accessible whenever you want. That is called availability. So you have to consider the available materials while you choose a material for your machine design application. Next one is suitability. What is suitability? Suitability means the ability of a material to work under defined conditions, isn't it? The material will be suitable for working under its defined conditions. Suppose it has to work at high temperature or high pressure application, then the material has to withstand that force as well as that environmental conditions. That is represented by the suitability of the material. So you have to choose a suitable material that will withstand the external conditions as well as the working conditions. Cost is an important factor that is to be considered while choosing a material. Otherwise, whatever design you make, it will be just a waste. So you have to consider the cost of the material. Indian standards for designation of metals. In India, the standardization as well as quality certification is maintained by BIS, or Bureau of Indian Standards. BIS has suggested some standard ways for representing the name of metals. So there are two methods for designation of metals. One is designation based on mechanical properties and the other one is designation based on chemical composition. So first of all, we shall discuss about designation based on mechanical properties. Steel is usually represented by the letter Fe and another one is Fee. So Fe360 means steel with minimum tensile strength 360 Newton per mm square, and Fe capital E means steel with minimum yield strength of 270 Newton per mm square. For ferrous castings, Fg represent gray iron castings. Sg represent spheroid or nodular graphite iron, and Cs represents steel casting. So Fg300 means gray iron castings with minimum tensile strength of 300 Newton per mm square. Next is designation based on chemical composition. First of all, unalloyed carbon steel 25C. Here 25 represents 100 times the average percentage of carbon content present in steel. Here an example is shown. Here the carbon content ranges from 0.2 to 0.3 percentage. So its average is 0.25 percentage. It is multiplied with 100. That's why the designation has a 25. Similarly, unalloyed free cutting steel has 0.35 percentage carbon average. It is represented by 35. For representing tool steel, you have to use the letter T. So 75T5 represents 0.75 percentage carbon in tool steel. Similarly, X represents high alloy steel and XT represents high alloy tool steel. For ferrous castings, 3.3 percentage is represented by 33. Pg represents pig iron, and here an example is given, Pg12 manganese. Okay, here 12 represents 4 times the average percentage of silicon.